Hey guys, we are live with Sean David, the executive producer of The Last Kumite. Sounds like an amazing film, and we're going to find out all about that. So, Sean, thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I'm excited.
Glad to have you here. So, let's talk about the project.
Yeah.
First, how and why did it come about? How did you basically get the ball rolling?
Okay. Well, to be honest, if you would have asked me that question like 15 or 16 months ago, I had no intention of becoming a movie producer whatsoever.
Okay.
I basically did the same thing, or I am doing basically the same thing as you do. I talk to legends from back in the days, and since I'm a huge fan of those martial arts movies from back in the days, I talk to many legends of that time period. And the interview always lasted like for half an hour, and after the interview was done, we continued talking like for an hour, for 2 hours, and everybody was basically on the same page with me in terms of why aren't those kind of movies getting produced anymore? Why is that era over? Why, even though there's still a market for those kind of movies, why is nobody doing that movies? And then Matthias Hues, the guy who played the villain in Dolph Lundgren's I Come in Peace, or
Sure.
in No Retreat, No Surrender 2, um, told me, "Hey, why don't you produce such a movie?" And me being totally naive and stupid, yeah, that sounds like an amazing idea. I should produce that movie.
Sure.
Yeah, that was 60 months ago, and now I'm a movie producer.
Wow. And I remember over a year ago, I think last January of 2022, you had randomly emailed me and was kind of talking about like some project. Obviously, it was in the very early stages. So a year, fast forward like a little over a year later, and it's really coming to life. And it sounds quite amazing with the cast you got involved. But not only that, the behind the scenes stuff, right? With the music, and you got
Yes.
Stan Bush and um how'd you get involved with Stan Bush anyway? Did you just like randomly email these guys or what?
The funny thing is, I had Stan on my show before the whole project came about. So I had him on my show. We talked, and he was a very nice guy, and we stayed in touch. And obviously, when the whole concept for the movie came about, that we wanted to have a old school martial arts movie in the style of 80s and 90s martial arts movies, obviously you have to have uh, an iconic sound, and the music
Mhm.
was so vital for those kind of movies. Like to me, in my opinion, many movies like Bloodsport and Kickboxer never would have had that success if the music wasn't as good as it was. And yeah, I just reached out to Stan Bush and told him, "Hey, I'm doing a movie. Would you like to do the music for it?" And I told him about the concept, and for whatever reason, he said yes. No, not for whatever reason. He wanted to do it so bad because he's also a sucker for this kind of music. He still does that kind of music, so it was right up his alley.
Oh yeah, perfect. And of course you got Paul Herzog for the score involved as well.
Yes. Yeah, Paul. The crazy thing is, to me, Paul is one of the most iconic 80s, 90s composers of all time. And he hasn't scored a movie since 1991 for whatever
Why?
reason.
Like what is he doing?
Yeah, he's a teacher. He's actually a teacher.
Oh, is
Yeah.
he a music teacher?
Exactly, exactly.
Okay. Okay.
And he told me, I asked him the same question. I asked him, like, Paul, you were so big in those kind of movies. Why haven't you continued working in the business? And he told me that the the business has changed. Like those electronic soundtracks were looked down upon in the 90s, and so he basically gave up.
Hmm.
And yeah, I told him that I'm such a big fan of his work, and that he still has millions of fans that enjoy his music, and we want to have him for this project so bad. And I basically got him out of retirement, and he still has the old equipment from back in the day. So
Oh, really? He's got the
yeah,
old equipment. That's cool. That's funny.
exactly.
Yeah, that
Nice.
should be a bonus feature, by the way, on like the Blu-ray release of him using the old equipment, composing the music, right? It'd be a nice little segment.
I got a question for you. Which music do you prefer, Kickboxer or Bloodsport?
I'm a Bloodsport guy. Like the music, the movie, everything about it. We'll talk more about that momentarily because, of course, The Last Kumite is heavily inspired by Bloodsport and some other films. Let me give a couple quick shout outs. R. Marcus Taylor. I interviewed him recently. Great interview. Great martial arts. He played Suge Knight in Straight Outta Compton. So if you need some dude that looks like Suge Knight in your movie, I don't know if you're done with casting, but give
You
him a
can
shout, man. I'll hook you up with him if you want.
always use a
And
guy who looks like Shook Knight.
yeah, sure, man. Very intimidating. Master General. This is my buddy. He's a rapper, and he's actually about to break out in some movie. So anyway, just got that news today. Let's see what else. Okay, Robert Dunning. The Last Kumite is going to be an awesome movie. Old school martial arts movies need to come back. I agree. That's
Thank
kind
you,
of
man.
the reason I started the channel, making the 80s and 90s great again, because like you said, they don't make these movies anymore. So I just kind of watch and rewatch the movies they did back in the day because I'm not satisfied with the vast majority of this stuff coming out these days, unfortunately. But a lot of people kind of feel that way too. It's not just us.
Yeah, but that explains also the success of your show. I mean, we talked a little bit before the interview that your channel grew so much in the past 6 to 7 months. That is because so many people have a craving for those kind of movies and those kind of topics. So obviously, there is still a crowd and audience for those kind of films.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. And the interesting thing about The Last Kumite, and I think it's both good and bad, to be perfectly honest, is the casting. It's really cool that you got all these old school dudes like Lauren Avedon, Billy Blanks, Michelle Kesey, Abdel Kesey,
Lauren
Cynthia
Avedon is not in
Rothrock.
the movie. Lauren is not in the movie.
Lauren's not in the movie? Oh, you don't have
No.
Lauren Avedon. You have Kurt McKinney.
Yes.
Yes. Sometimes I get them confused. They both look kind of
Totally
similar. But
fine.
okay, so you got Kurt McKinney. So maybe you'll get Lauren Avedon. Who knows? But either way, you have all these old school martial artists, which is cool. And we love seeing them fight on screen in the 90s, but they're a little older now. Like, are they literally fighting in the Kumite? Is it going to be a bunch of like Rocky Balboas fighting in old age?
Okay. I know where you're heading. So the first thing, we're not stupid, okay? So, obviously, not every one of them will participate in the kumite. Everybody has a role, which is according to their age and which is suitable to their age. But on the other hand, there are certain people who age differently, and especially martial artists who take care of their body
Oh,
for their
sure.
entire life, age differently than I would age, for example. Yeah, I'm 39 and I can hardly move. Yeah, if you compare me to Cynthia Rothrock, for example, she's definitely better in shape than I am. But to answer your question, the majority of the fighters in the kumite are younger,
Okay.
but there will also be one or two legends in the kumite.
Okay, that's good to know. And some of the cast I've noticed you got David Young, Bolo's son,
Yes,
one of the younger
exactly.
fighters. You got Emilian DeFalco. So I
Yes,
know him. He's a great
yes,
martial artist.
yes,
Um,
absolutely.
have you approached Scott Atkins or Michael Jai White? Have you approached those guys at
It's
all?
funny. I actually I had Scott on my show like 7 or 8 months ago, and I actually when the script was written, it was written having Scott in mind as the lead.
Okay.
But Scott, because Scott already did some tournament movies with the Undisputed French,
Undisputed, yeah, sure.
exactly. It was not the kind of direction he would like to go,
Mhm.
which I totally respected. And Scott was super nice, super friendly, super cool about it. And I totally respect it. And I totally understand it. Um, but on the other hand, I'm also happy now the way it is because Scott would have outshined from the star power that he has at the moment because he's a current star. He might have overshined some of the guys. And the way it's balanced now, I feel 100% comfortable with it. And Michael J. White, I mean, it's also a budget question. Those guys
Sure.
are, they're pretty current, they're pretty popular right now. And I'm not sure if we could have afford them. But hey, if the movie does well, maybe there's a sequel. You never know what happens.
So you're saying it's not necessarily the last Kumite?
Well, it definitely will be the last kumite of the hero.
Oh, okay. Okay. Um, well, so obviously it's tied in like an homage to Bloodsport. Is the Kumite tied into like the Black Dragon Fighting Society at all, or what?
No. Obviously, we have to separate our movie from Bloodsport because of rights issues and so on. So it's not a Bloodsport sequel. It's not in the same universe as Bloodsport, but it should be an homage to movies such as Bloodsport and Kickboxer and No Retreat, No Surrender, those 80s martial arts styles. So, but it has a completely own story, own universe. So it has nothing to do with Bloodsport, but obviously an homage.
Yes, and you approached and talked to a lot of these old school martial artists. Did you ever approach Frank Dukes by any chance?
No, but I was in touch with Frank a year ago, and a super nice guy, by the way. And I always say, like, on every show that I go, people, I don't want to say they make fun of Frank Dukes, but in their opinion, they all say that Frank is lying. And I know my opinion is probably not the most popular one, but my opinion is I don't even care if he's lying. There's one fact: if it wasn't for him, we never would have had the movie Bloodsport, and that's what I care about. So I'm grateful for whatever he has done. That I could have a movie that I'm still loving 40 years later, that I still have so much passion for. So that's all I care about. But I haven't approached him about this movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I mean, yes, I would like to know the truth, and I do appreciate if people tell me the truth, right? But at the end of the day, I will always give him credit for Bloodsport. I don't personally care if he did fight in the Kumite. It's not going to affect my life. I don't really care if he was part of these secret CIA operations. Like, it doesn't affect my life. Though, if you ask him, it probably did because he helped circumvent certain things from happening. So maybe it would have affected all of our lives. But anyway, let me give a shout out to my buddy Martino Muay great guy. Viking himself would be the perfect new fresh martial arts star. I'm not sure you could afford him though. Well, right now I'm cheap because I haven't been in anything. So anyway, he's a cheerleader of mine.
Well,
Thanks,
if you
Mark.
want to be in the movie, just gotta ask, or we just gotta talk about it.
I'll talk to you after this, man. But see,
Okay.
now you're gonna have everybody hitting you up. I want to be in the movie too. I want to be in the movie too. And we'll
Oh,
talk more about your Kickstarter a little bit later.
that's already happening. Like,
Oh,
no
is it?
joke.
Oh, you mean
No,
like everybody's reaching out to you?
you have no idea. I'm getting, no joke, like 100 emails a day from people who want to be in the movie. It's crazy. My
I
email.
don't doubt that for a second, man. Because this sounds like it's going to be something very special. Let's see. Oh, okay. Cinematic Tendency is Oliver Harper, an editor of The Last Kumite.
Do you know Oliver Harper?
I don't know him. I know of him. I have watched his videos. He does good
Okay.
work.
Yes. Yeah, Oliver Harper is going to be the editor. And he's actually one of my favorite YouTubers, because he also does, he covers old school movies, not only martial arts, but action movies, like Universal Soldier and basically all the Van Damme stuff. So yeah, he's also a great YouTuber. And I watch his show just as religiously as yours.
Oh, thank you.
No, seriously, I've watched many of your episodes, man. You do very, very interesting and very good interviews.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
appreciate that. And here's another interesting and very good interview, by the way, live no less. Richard G comments, will there be a character based off of Frank Dukes?
No.
Okay. He also said I need to be in the movie, by the way, so I'm getting some support here. Not to put you on the spot or anything.
Okay.
Oh, look, you Kisi.
Oh,
This is
Mohammed. Hey,
that's
man. How you doing?
Muhammad. Yes.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
And
Oh, but
I don't know if he's actually fighting in the film because you kind of mentioned maybe some guys will, some guys won't. I will say one thing though, there is rumblings of a real fight with Muhammad Kisi and Don the Dragon Wilson.
for real?
For real, for real.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's awesome. Well, first of all, before we move on, I got to say something to you guys. Mohammed Kissi is one of the nicest people on the planet. When we're talking about actors who are very grounded and very good human beings, Mohammed Kissi is a very, very good guy, and I'm so honored and humbled that he is working with us in this project. Just wanted to say this on air. Super cool guy.
I'll say the same thing. I talked to him quite a bit. Obviously, in the interview I did with them, which they're amazing videos. but just talking to him outside of the interviews in the channel, such a great, respectful, kind, humble guy, man.
Yes.
So I'm glad he's a part of this. He should be a part of it. He needs to be a part of it. I do got to ask though, since I did bring up Don Wilson, did you ask Don Wilson to be a part of this?
Uh, I was in touch with Don, but to make a long story short, we wanted to have him in the movie.
Okay.
And I was talking to him, and then he got sick for a while, which I didn't know, and we weren't in touch for a time period, and we had to move on because we had to cast the last roles, and yeah, so it didn't work out. Now it's a budget reason why we can't add him to the movie. But hey, as I said, who knows if this is the only movie? Maybe it turns out to be a franchise. You never some names around that you could add for a potential second movie.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Shout out to Carnivorous Barbie for the $10 super sticker. Thank you. Since you got your wallet open, check out Sean's Kickstarter for the Last Kumite. Maybe contribute a little bit to that. Not only you, but everybody else watching this. And we'll talk more about the Kickstarter shortly. We'll kind of save that to the end. Hey, Sean, your honest opinion. Try not to be biased.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think would actually win in that kickboxing match between Muhammad and Don Wilson?
Don't ask me something like that. Oh man. Okay, I tell you what. My honest opinion, and Mohamed, I will be 100% honest. Okay, I think that they're both even. I think that in his prime, Don might have been ahead of him, but I know that Mohamed Michel Kissy, is still in pretty good shape, and he has a warrior mentality. I watched many of his stuff on YouTube, so he's a warrior, and I wouldn't count him out, even though obviously Don the Dragon Wilson had a longer career. There's no joking around with Mohamed Kissy.
Yeah, he's got amazing hands, head movement, moves like Ali. He's heard that a lot, and you could just kind of tell, even watching Bloodsport, even though the choreographed fights, you could tell he's a real trained fighter. So he had a lot of boxing matches. That was one of the videos I did with Muhammad, talking about Tong Po's real fight. So as far as kickboxing goes, you kind of have to give the edge to Don as a kickboxer. But if it was a boxing match, I'd probably give the edge to Muhammad. So kickboxing match. Well, I think we might find out, so we don't even have to wonder. I think we're going to find out within a year, to be honest.
But there's also age difference, which you have to take into consideration.
Well, they're both in their 60s, so you know.
Yeah, but isn't Don like 5 years older?
He is, but man, is that guy in great shape. Like, if you guys check out his Facebook, he's working the bag all the time. He's literally been preparing for a fight. I just talked to him last week. He's sharp as a tack. So, I mean, Muhammad's sharp too. You know, a lot of people, when they get older, their mental faculties decline, but these guys are talking like us. So they're still very healthy. You can tell just by talking to them. So I don't think the 5-year age difference would be that big of a difference, because Don is in prime shape. And I know Muhammad could get back into prime shape. I'm actually going to help him, funny enough.
Oh, really? Oh, crazy.
Yes,
okay.
yes, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's all very surreal, right?
Okay, but that's definitely something that I would look out for. Nice.
Oh yeah. You'll see it on the channel. Ron asks, when will the movie be released?
Yeah, so we're targeting the April 2024. So obviously we're hoping that the Kickstarter campaign that we're running right now will be a success, so that we can shoot the movie in the time span that we actually want to have, and that we have all the finances together. Yeah, and then we target April 2024.
Oh, that'll be great. Now, everybody, check out the Kickstarter, support the Kickstarter. It's linked in the description below. I looked at the Kickstarter. In fact, I got it up right here. I think there's 20 something days left.
Yeah, 20.
Okay, you got 24 days left. You're almost at half the goal. So just shy of 80,000 of the $164,396 goal. I know the way Kickstarter works. If that goal's not reached, you guys don't get any of that money, right?
Yes, and that would hurt. That would really, really hurt. That would be devastating for us.
It would be. So, guys, make sure to check it out, contribute. But let me just ask you this, real talk. Worst case scenario, the goal's not hit. Are we still getting this movie, or are we not getting this movie?
Yeah, we would get this movie, but
Okay.
I would have to finance a lot out of my own, even more than right now. I'm already investing a large sum for this project, and not because I'm not a risk taker. It's not like I'm a person who says, "Yeah, I invest that kind of money there and there." I'm not that type of guy. But I want this movie to happen so bad because the 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 chance of making millions of people happy just to have a childhood movie, just to yeah, get so many people happy motivates me like crazy. And if we would reach the Kickstarter goal, it would help us to increase the shooting schedule. We could have more music from Paul Herzog. We might have the chance to add another surprise star to the movie, so it would give us way more options. So yeah, it would really help, really help.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So if we want this thing to be the best and the highest quality it can, and obviously with movies, you could always do more
Oh,
with more money. So
can I add one more thing, please?
yeah, of course.
Another thing, obviously, in order for you guys to see the movie around the world, um, another reason why it's important for us to reach the Kickstarter goal is um, we still need to sign several distribution deals around the world so that the movie comes out, for example, in Spain, in France, etc. Um, and if a distributor sees that we reach our Kickstarter goal, they see, okay, that there is a demand. People want this to work. People want this to happen. So it increases our chances of getting distribution deals around the world.
That's a really great point. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. As far as distribution, though, I know you're going to have like hard copies, like Blu-ray, which is great because I
Yes,
want one in this bookcase, of
yes,
course. Do you guys have plans in some territories to try to get a theatrical release?
yes. We signed distribution deals in the US, um, which could have potentially, depending on how good the movie turns out, have a limited release in the cinema.
Okay.
In Australia and New Zealand, it's supposed to have a limited release in the cinema. So at the end, it all depends on how good the movie turns out. And I'm not saying that more money automatically gets you a better quality movie, but it increases the chances and the possibilities to create the movie in your vision.
For sure. Like the real magic of movies, and I think some of the greatest movies ever did not have even close to the biggest budget. They were The Karate Kid, they were Rocky, they were Bloodsport, and it's really that passion of people
Yes,
wanting to make something great that you can't pay for. Like, you
yes,
can't just say, "Here's $1,000,000, make the best movie ever." It's like, the guy will take the $1,000,000 and make something, commercial releasable, but that's about it. It ain't gonna have, like, the I think great movies like Bloodsport literally have, like, a soul. It's like they're
yes,
alive, right?
yes. That's a
Yeah.
perfect. You analyzed it perfectly. That's exactly how I feel. There are so many movies who have a very limited budget, but you can see that that the movie was shot creatively. Like for example, Bloodsport. For example, um, the movie looks beautiful. The fighting choreography is beautiful. Even though fighting styles have advanced since then,
Mhm.
from an artistic standpoint, Bloodsport to me is like eye candy. It looks
Oh, yeah.
so artistic, beautiful, and that shows that people really gave thought to it and really try, yeah, had their heart into the project. And yeah, I'm not sure if the movie had more budget that the movie would have been better.
Probably not. I mean, there's just so much involved. Like you said, it had the right music. Had they actually had more money, they might have paid some other guy instead of Paul
Yes,
Herzog, and it wouldn't have been the same. Had they had more money, I mean, I guess Canon Films had an in-house editor, but it was Van Damme going in there and recutting it, and it wasn't
yes,
because, hey, Van Damme, here's a bunch of money, recut the film. It's like, no, I have a vision and I know how the fights need to look. So yeah, sometimes it's a lot more than money, but obviously you need money to get anything done. Talking about how great Bloodsport looked, cinematographer David Worth, did you ever approach him?
it's funny. Yeah, I also talked to him.
Of course.
Yeah, we actually wanted to have him, but and he also was interested, but it's a long story. It didn't work out, but we are happy with the way it turned out. Now we have Ross Clarkson, who was the what do you call it in English? DP, what you call it in English?
Yeah, cinematographer, DP,
Yes,
same thing. Yeah.
exactly. Who was the DP for the Undisputed movies,
Okay.
and he's such a team player, and that's also so important to me. Like everybody that we have in the movie and team wise is a person who really has his passion for this project and who's really a team player. I don't want to have any a-holes
Oh, of
working
course
on
not.
this.
That's just gonna make it
Yeah,
miserable for everybody
yes,
involved, man.
yes. So
Yeah.
we're happy with the solution.
Oh, nice. Master the General, will this movie be rated R? Please make us all happy and say yes.
Yeah, it will not be a PG-13.
Okay. So there's gonna be some blood like Bloodsport.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And this is a two-parter. Technical question, if it's not a secret, how much is the overall budget along with marketing?
I cannot answer that yet because we are doing everything in steps. So the first step is raising the money to shoot the movie,
Sure.
get the post production done, and then we worry about everything else. So let's first focus on getting the movie done.
Oh, here's a question. You know, a lot of people, I mean, this is quite cool that this is like, you know, you had no ambitions to be a producer, and all of a sudden, like, this thing is so close,
Yes.
and I think it's going to be a big hit. But a question I know a lot of people would have, myself included, how did you go about trying to raise money for this movie?
Um, well, the one thing that I can say is, or what my friends would tell you, I don't have like I would never consider myself being extremely good in anything. But the only thing that I really um know about myself is I'm a person who gets stuff done. So
Hmm.
if there is something to do, and even if it's a lot of legwork, um, yeah, I just contact people. I just don't give up. I keep bugging. And the good thing is, if I get a person that listens to me, I'm good in convincing somebody because they see that I come from the right place. And people who know that my heart is in the right place, they usually give me a shot and give me a chance. So I was lucky that I got open ears with the people that I talked to.
Very cool. Yeah, persistence pays off, and probably the most important trait of a producer is yeah, just to, like you said, your trait is you get things done. So
Yes.
that's the main thing of a producer. Look, it just has to get done at the end of the day, and by a certain date. Here's a question or
No.
comment. Filmologic, imagine Seagal having a cameo.
Yeah, that will never happen.
Why not?
um okay, the first thing, and believe me, I'm a very positive person. I don't like talking bad about people at all.
Mhm.
Um, but I actually know people that worked with Steven Seagal, and he doesn't seem to be a nice person. And this is exactly what I said before. And this is also something that's 100% me. You can be the biggest star. You could offer me $10 million to invest in my movie. If I know that you're not a good person, I would never take your money. I
Mm.
rather suffer and not get the money than working with a not good person.
Yeah, that makes sense. As far as Seagal, I mean, people will know that I'm a one of probably the well, there's got to be more than just me on the internet. One of the few defenders of Steven Seagal online, man. Everybody else trashes him on YouTube. Um, I just wonder how many of these stories are true and if he changed, because people do change. So maybe if someone worked with him 20 years ago, maybe he was an a-hole. I have no idea. But maybe he changed as he got older, right?
Yeah, I can tell you that. I actually know somebody who worked with him not so many years ago
Hmm.
who told me, and that's a person that I trust, who told me that it was not a pleasure at all. And at some point, and truth being told, I was a huge Seagal fan in the early '90s. I loved his movies, and
Mhm.
just talking from his appearance from back in the days and his the way that he looked and the way his fighting style looked, that guy was unbelievable. That was something that we have never seen before. And
Oh, yeah.
credit where credit is due. Yeah. But in the past 20 years, his movies weren't good. I'm sorry. And I gave the movies a chance because I wanted the movies to be good, but it didn't happen. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No,
If you like,
I have to agree with the movie thing. I mean, the last 20 years, you know.
yeah, and I, the same thing with like with Frank Dukes. Um, I wish, I really wish that Seagal would be a nice person. That I'm wrong. That would be nice. Correct me if I'm wrong. Then hey, I'm totally fine with that. But I just heard so many stories also from people that I trust that it's just hard to root for the
Yeah, I
guy.
mean, if you got people you talk to that worked with him, then it is what it is. I have to ask this now. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure the reason is because of the budget, right? Like
yeah.
someone like Van Damme, Jean-Claude Van Damme, would be very expensive still. Was the idea ever in your head to try to get like Van Damme involved in this project, though?
Oh man, I got okay. I have to be honest. I won't lie. Yeah, there was an idea at first. That was, and I know that he even had the script. I know that he had the script.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
and I even
Wow.
met him.
You
And we,
met Jean-Claude.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah, but we only talked for a minute. Yeah.
Okay.
So truth
Okay.
be told, we only talked for a minute, and I didn't even didn't even ask him about the script. I just talked about. I don't even remember. But and here comes the buts. A year ago, Van Damme announced. I forgot what I think the movie title was. What's my name? He
Yeah, I
announced.
remember that. I
Yeah,
did a video
yeah,
on that. Yeah.
exactly. And he announced that he doesn't want to do any action and fighting movies anymore.
Well, after
So
that one. Yeah.
yes, exactly. So um, when I haven't heard back from him, I thought, okay, he doesn't want to do fighting movies anymore. I respect that. That's
Mhm.
totally fine. But I could also, that's another thing. I could also understand that he would not like to do another tournament franchise if it's not Bloodsport. I totally would understand that.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Since you have Bolo's son David in the film, though, did you ever approach Van Damme's son Chris?
No, but I would lie if I would say that I never thought about it.
He's an amazing martial
I
artist.
I
I mean,
know, I know,
yeah.
I know, but you know, my problem with the whole situation would be then it would look like we would only want him because he is Van Damme's son. Like for example, David, Bolo's son. For
Mhm.
example, even if he would not be Bolo's son, he would still be interesting for the movie because he has a great look. His body is phenomenal. Um, and
That's the same with Chris, though, man. Check out his Instagram. He's like ripped and
yeah, he
big
looks
and
good. He looks good.
great
He looks
martial arts.
good.
So even if he didn't have the name, this is a guy with a lot of talent and good traits for film.
It would be funny to have him being the hero and Bolo's son David being the villain.
It'd literally be you'd have to change the name to Bloodsport Generations or
Yeah, yeah,
something.
something like that. Yeah, 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 yeah. It would be
Yeah, that's
crazy. It would be
funny.
crazy.
Yeah. Speaking of the fights, though, fighting in the movie, Sharif El Bushi, who's doing the fight choreography for the film?
Yes, we actually are very, very happy and very proud that we have Mike Muller. Mike Muller is very well respected in Hollywood. He worked on movies with Stallone, in The Expendables, Part Four. He was, I think, in The Matrix, the last one. If you go on YouTube and you type in Mike Muller, this guy is amazing and well respected around the world. And we were very lucky that he is also such a huge fan of those '80s martial arts movies that he said, "Hey, I don't." I don't want to be in this project for the money. I just want to be a part of this great project. This is basically the attitude of everybody in the movie. Everybody said, "Hey, money is not my main reason to be part of this movie. I just want to be part of a great project and make their fans happy."
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, this in no way is a paycheck movie. Like, I just can't
Yes,
imagine anybody involved. Yeah, I'll do it. How much are you going to give me? Like,
yes.
yeah, this is different. We can all tell. Here's a question. Robert Dunning, will there be a movie soundtrack? So are you going to release that individually, the soundtrack?
Yes, two things. First of all, on the Kickstarter campaign, you can actually purchase the soundtrack from from Paul Herzog and the title song from Stan Bush. This is something that I have to tell you. I already have the title song from Stan Bush. It's a hit. It's really, really a hit. And I also have some song ideas from Paul Herzog already, and it sounds just like from the 80s. So that you can
Wow.
purchase at the Kickstarter campaign, and there it could be that Paul Herzog will release it as a CD next year sometime.
Oh, that's cool. Here's a comment. Conrad vs. Barbie. I respect Seagal, but he doesn't have a look anymore. How
True.
dare you? No.
Yeah,
Well, I
true.
mean, he gained a little bit of weight. It is what it is. But
Okay, you are really a Seagal fan. You just said he gained a little bit of weight. Okay, you are really a Seagal fan.
just a little bit.
Little.
Here goes a question. Mike Rose. Will you be filming in the UK?
No, we won't. We will be filming in the US. We'll be filming in Germany, and we will be filming in Bulgaria.
US, Germany, and Bulgaria. Oh, let me ask you this. So, obviously, what's very important with Bloodsport and where most of the film took place was at the actual Kumite. They had that cool platform. Did you guys build your, stage, fight ring, platform, etc. yet?
Yes,
You
and
did.
it was super expensive. Oh shoot, man!
I bet.
I signed the contract for that thing today, and it really hurt so much to sign that thing because that ring is just super expensive.
Yeah, you guys
But
got
it's
to
important.
contribute to
But
the.
it's important.
It's
It's important.
very important. It's like a character in the movie,
Yes.
basically, in
Yeah.
a lot of ways.
Good point.
Did you guys build that in Bulgaria, Germany, or the US?
Germany.
Oh, so it's in Germany.
Yeah, because Germans have good quality products.
Yeah, Mercedes, BMWs, sure, man. Engineering country. Oh,
Can we answer
Daryl.
the Can we answer the question that you
Oh,
just went
which one
by?
was that?
This one, yeah, I would love to answer
Oh,
that. Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yes, it's amazing, and this is actually a thing that motivates me like crazy. As I said before, I get 100 emails every day from people who would like to be in the movie.
Sure.
Yeah, but I also get many messages from people actually thanking us, even though we haven't even shot the movie yet. People from all over the world thanking us that we um, make an attempt to actually make a movie like that, and um, I know for a fact that if I wouldn't be the producer and I would hear from somebody that would do a movie like that, I would be super grateful and super happy because I would love to see a movie like that. So, yeah, the reception is super positive. Obviously, you always have people who dislike that, but hey, we're not making the movie for them. We're making for the people that want to see a movie like that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, you know the audience. The audience is people that watch my channels, people that watch some of the other guys you're associated with channels, is people that love Van Damme, Matthias Hughes,
Yes,
all these guys, Billy
yes.
Blanks. Robert Dunning. I think Sho Kosugi would be a great addition to the movie. He could play a master or fighter. You ever reach out to
Okay.
that Ninja Master?
I can tell you something. If the movie does well, in terms of we get it made, the quality is good, and we end up making some money. There's another project in the pipeline called The Last American Ninja,
Oh, okay.
and Sho Kazugi obviously should be in that movie as well.
Hmm. Yeah, of course, of course. The only issue I would think is I know MGM, they hold that American Ninja so close. So to get the rights where you can actually use that might be an issue. It would be a great title though if you
Okay.
guys can get
Okay.
those rights.
Okay, but good to know. I didn't know that. But hey, then I would have to talk to them.
Yeah, have a meeting. There's a few people trying to do ninja movies, and if you should get Stephen Lambert, for example, I know he wrote a really good ninja script. He'd probably love to be involved in that
Yeah,
project.
oh, I love the script of the first American Ninja movie. Actually, that movie is one of my all-time most underrated action movies. I love that movie so much.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Let's go over a couple other comments here. Oh, from Ron, can you speak about the plot of the movie and who the main, I guess the main guy of the movie? Like, if you could talk about
Okay,
him and also, but the basic plot, if you want to summarize.
okay. I won't tell you who the main guy will be. That would be a surprise.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can tell you the basic story without spoiling too much. So or very summarized. So the
Mhm.
story is about a a single raising parent, a father, martial artist who um who participates in a local New Yorker karate tournaments, and he's pretty good in shape. He wins the tournaments, and he gets approached by a shady businessman who invites him to an illegal Kumite in Bulgaria. And the hero doesn't want to participate and refuses the offer, and his daughter gets kidnapped. And in order to save her life, he has to participate in the kumite. And it turns out he's not the only one who has to save his loved ones. That's all I can say.
So basically, nobody wants to go to this kumite. They're all like forced to go.
There are some people who want to be there for the money.
Okay.
But many are forced, yeah.
Interesting. All right.
Yes, Joker, you're 100% right.
Oh, here's a question. A lot of people obviously have questions regarding the cast. Did you ever consider Mark Strange? His fight in Ip Man 4 was really good.
Was Mark Strange the shorter guy who fought Donnie Yen and got beaten at the end? Before was that the guy that beat all the fighters at the Asian festival?
I think he's got a beard, and
yeah,
I think he's like half Asian and half white. Somebody like
yes,
said,
I remember him. No, we haven't thought about him. No, he wasn't on our mind, but I loved him in the movie. He was great in the movie.
Sure. Let me ask you this, man. What's your favorite martial arts movie of all time?
Bloodsport, no doubt.
Bloodsport, no question. Okay, so some people like Kickboxer more, and some people just say Enter the Dragon or something else altogether. But it's Bloodsport without question.
Yes, and the thing is, when we're talking about 80s martial arts movies, there were really some movies that like I get invited to many German shows where we talk about movies, like movie shows. And I always defend those martial arts movies from the 80s. People always say, oh, they never had the greatest plot and they were so cheap and so on. But they managed to do something that to me proves that they are masterpieces. If you can rewatch a movie 50 times and you still enjoy it, that shows a certain degree of quality, and it shows that that those movies are special. I watched Bloodsport 100 times, No Retreat, No Surrender 100 times, Kickboxer 100 times.
Sure.
So that proves that this is quality too.
Definitely. Here's a comment. Oh, thanks for the $10, Amir Godsey. Thank you, VS, for your continued amazing content. Thank you, Sean and his team, for putting the Last Kumite together. I know you hear that a lot. That's great. I will do what I can to help donate. Much
Thank you, Amir.
Nice.
Whoop, whoop.
Nice. Take his lead, guys. Take his lead. Oh, this guy, Bao. The plot takes me back to childhood. Sounds great. Yeah, of course.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Takes us back to that 80s. Let's see. Oh, a lot of people want Timac. Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon. Now, that's an amazing martial arts film from the 80s.
Yes. Well, as I said, there might be a second movie. Let's take care of the first one, and let's see what the future brings.
For sure. Yeah, everybody's naming all these other names. Yeah, Bloodsport never becomes dated. That is
amen, brother.
True. And so, well, let's talk more about the wrap things up, more about the Kickstarter, more about these perks, just to get people to in and out, why they need to help donate, not only to make it happen, but what else are they getting out of it besides a great movie?
Okay, first of all, I want to give props to you on your show, not after the show. I want people to hear that. The way that you prepare for interviews and the way that the effort that you show to push this, I really, really appreciate that. And you are a very good host.
Thank you.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure it's been said on air. So the perks, the tiers on Kickstarter. So this is something that we really gave a lot of thought, because we wanted to make sure that we offer something that the fans would love to have. So we have obviously autographs of the cast. We have posters with the entire main cast signed, so all the legends on the poster. We have personal video shout outs. So for example, to have Kurt McKinney, the star from No Retreat, No Surrender, or Matthias Hues, or Michelle Kissy sending video shout outs, personalized. We have worn outfits, which is worn in, which get worn in the movie. We have even, you could be an executive producer for the movie, so get your name in the credits on IMDb and your name in the movie. Plus Blu-rays, the soundtrack. We have this poster stand, 6 foot, 6'2", with
Wow.
all the signatures in gold from the cast. You could be a VIP at the set. Come to Germany. A lot of crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, that sounds great. So, guys, click the link in the description and not only support it, but get some really cool perks. Here's a question. No girls. So, you do have females competing in the Kumite, right?
We got one female character who will participate in the Kumite, but we had one fighter, but she's out now, unfortunately. Um, we are in final talks to replace her with a very, very talented fighter. That's the thing. If you have a female fighter in the Kumite, she has to be so good that you would believe that she's capable of fighting men. And so we've been casting like crazy, but we're very confident that we made the right choice.
Okay, that is very important because a lot of people will complain with a lot of modern action movies. Oh, how is this 120-pound woman beating up like
Yes,
200-pound dudes? It's
I totally understand, and that's what we have in mind. So that's why casting always took so long for this position. We want to make sure we get the right woman that believably can kick a man's ass.
for sure, for sure. Robert Dunning, this will be the blood sport of the 2000s. There you go.
That would be nice, yeah.
That would be something. Yes. And then Charlie, thank you for the $10 super sticker. Let's just see if there's any last minute questions here before we wrap this up. Okay, Master General, alternative universe question. If you could have released this movie before, what date would you choose? 1988 or 1993? Both years significant in our great movies.
Mm-hmm. 88 was when Bloodsport came out, so I wouldn't like to release it the same year. Um, I would say 1993, to be honest. But it's difficult because action movies and fighting movies have changed since 1993.
Mhm.
88 was like the peak of 80s martial arts movies, and it changed. Wasn't 1993 also Only the Strong?
It was either 93 or 94.
And that was already a different type of martial arts movie. They weren't
Yeah,
relying too much on training of training music and those motivational stuff. It was a different type of movie. So difficult to answer that. What do you think?
well, it feels obviously it's an 80s movie. You know, like I talk about making the 80s and 90s great again. There's a big difference between the 80s and 90s. This really harkens back to the 80s. I agree with what you say where you don't want it to be competition against Bloodsport.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, we already had that with Don Wilson and Bloodfist,
Yes.
Bolo and Blood Fight,
Yes.
uh, other guys in Blood Match. Like there's so many of those
Yes. Yes.
movies. There's so many of those movies. So I would still put it in 88 and ride the Bloodsport. You know, I don't want to say ride the coattails, but these movies were popular. So, put another great one out.
Amy Johnson
Amir,
is too expensive. Just wanted
oh,
to
is
add.
she? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Now yeah, she's got the right look, the right skills, but not
Yeah.
the right price.
Yeah.
maybe in the sequel with the bigger budget.
Yeah, I actually wish that she would but I can say it openly, that's just the truth. Um she doesn't like for her it was not important to be in the movie with all the legends. She doesn't have that connection to those movies. I could feel it right from the start that she didn't care about too much about that. It was more a money thing. And so I'm cool with it the way it is. We want people that actually want to be in the movie because they would love to make this 80s movie. If you're
Sure.
if your main reason is money, then you're not the right person for the project.
Yeah, yeah, and I think she's like a little younger than us, so she probably doesn't quite have the nostalgia.
Yes,
Where these names, like for us, are like, oh, these are amazing. For her,
yes,
it's like, it's
yes,
before my time. I didn't grow up
yes,
watching those people, so I
yes, yes,
don't
yes,
really care. I watched Only the Strong the other day again, still holds up, which I agree. Well, I have
yes.
to ask this then. So obviously, Sheldon Lettich wrote Bloodsport, wrote and directed Only the Strong with Luis Esteban, of course. He wrote and directed Double Impact, Lionheart. Did you ever talk to Sheldon to try to get involved?
We were in talks a year ago, like
Okay.
in the first phase when the whole project started. But we kind of lost contact, and then Ross W. Clarkson stepped in, and
Okay.
Yeah. Who knows what the
And you're
future?
very happy with Russ, it sounds like, with what you
Yes,
mentioned earlier. He's
100%,
got a lot of
100%.
experience in these kind of films. Work with
Yes,
Seagal, work with Van Damme, work with
yes,
Atkins, work with everybody basically in the
yes,
last 20
yes,
years.
exactly. So we're very happy with that.
Definitely. Here's a comment from Mike Rose. Sean David, a huge thank you for what you're doing. I get to be a kid again. Yeah,
You're
exactly.
welcome, Mike. Thank you for supporting. Really appreciate it.
And that's what people really like about my channels, because they get to be a kid again, you know? It
Yeah,
just
yeah,
reminds them of that very
yeah.
special time.
And the good thing is you ask the right questions. Like you are a person, you like to dig into and ask the questions that we as fans would like to know. I mean, as I told you before, I also talked to the legends, and I kind of stopped because of the movie project, but I always like to listen to your show because you dig a little bit deeper and you ask all the questions that I probably forget asking on my show. So
Speaking of digging deep, those Muhammad Kisi interviews, I know some people have interviewed him before and they'll put, like, you know, a nice interview video out. But with the detail I'm getting, like the next video I'm going to put out with him, it's not going to be about the movies. It's not going to be about coming to America. It's basically going to be what happened in that like 4 to 6 years when you and Van Damme were basically not doing anything. I mean, you were trying, right? But Kesey was out there delivering food. Van Damme was, like, you know, laying
yeah,
carpets. It's like, let's hear about that struggle, man, because a lot of people, you know, they have their own struggles, so it could resonate with them. But
yeah,
also give them hope. Like, look, man, you will be struggling for years to get something good done. But it had a happy ending, of course, you know, because obviously
yes,
people know who those guys are and they made it.
yes, absolutely, absolutely.
And let's see if there's any last thing. Oh, okay, Sharif, what's your view on the other Bloodsport film with Daniel Bernhardt?
Um, okay, honestly speaking, I think that the movies are not great, but it's not Daniel's fault. The second one, for example, the music is terrible, like really, really terrible, and it kills the entire atmosphere. Um, I think if you would have put Daniel in a movie with better music, better editing, and a better story, it could have worked. It really could have worked because Daniel, I mean, the guy is still successful even until today. So the
Oh,
guy's
sure.
obviously skillful, but you need to surround him with the right stuff, and you can't shine in a piece of shit. It's just impossible.
Yeah, especially when they made part 4.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was terrible. The Dark Committee, that was terrible. Yeah.
One last comment, blank name. Sean David loved the basketball video. So if you want to, I don't know if you want to plug your channel or not, but you
No,
got a
it's all
huge
good.
basketball channel.
Thanks for the props, and yeah, I don't want to advertise my basketball stuff.
Okay. Yeah, just we're focusing on Last Kumite,
Yeah.
guys. Remember, check out the Kickstarter, click the link, help support this film. It's halfway there. There's only like 3.5 weeks left. So
Yeah.
get some more money in there, man. And then hopefully, I think you said April or March of next year, we can actually watch this thing.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
April, yes.
cool. Awesome. Looking forward to it. Thanks so much, Sean.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thanks, guys.
All right, later, guys.